Hi, this is Miss Park, and this video is called box plots. Okay, so a box plot is a type of graph. So in our course, we've already seen different kinds of graphs. I'm just going to scroll up here. So we've seen bar graphs and we've seen histograms, circle graphs and pictographs. Those are just, a circle graph just looks like, it's also called like a pie graph. So it's like divided into segments. A pictograph is a graph that has pictures. So like this might be 1, and this is showing 5, and so on. So with pictures, bar graph we've seen, and histograms, okay, frequency. So we've had that already in our course. So this box plot is a type of graph that's brand new. And so I'm going to show you how to draw one and what it means. Okay, so there is an example of a box plot over here, but I'm actually going to go to the example that's with numbers. Okay, this one here. All right, so there's some new words for box plots. So first, let me tell you what's going on here. It says the following data are heights of 40 students in a statistics class. So you can see 40 numbers here, right? Those are the heights of the students. And you notice that they're sorted from smallest to largest. So there's some words to know here. The first word is the minimum value. So this is a keyword. Minimum value means the lowest value. So we can see the lowest value is 59. The next one is the maximum value. The maximum value is 77. So that part's easy. Okay. The next one that I want you to look at is this word median. So we've learned median before in elementary school, probably back to the early grades. And the median means the middle number in a data set. So here's a data set of 40 items. Okay, what's the middle number? Which number is in the middle of all of these? Right, well, if there's 40 numbers, then the middle one, half of 40 is 20. The middle number is going to be between the 20th and the 21st. So if I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, I'm counting 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and I draw a line here, that's dividing the data set into two halves. And this middle of here is called the median. Okay? Now, if you have an odd number of data values, then the median is going to have a number. But because I have an even number of data values, the median is between two of the data numbers. So I'm going to calculate it. I'm going to calculate it as the average of the two numbers. In this case, the two numbers that it's between is 66. So the median is actually the average of the two middle numbers. And that's happening because I have an even number of data points. So it's the average of the two middle numbers. And how do we find an average? When we find the average of two numbers, we add them up and divide by 2. So the median is 66. Okay, that's median. Median is also called the second quartile. What a quartile is a quartile is a quarter of the data. So if I have 40 data points, a quarter of the data is 10 data points. So let me count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm going to break it over here. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And now I'm at the median. Then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'm going to break it here. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So what I've done is I've created 4 quarters, and the quarters are called quartiles. The first quartile happens after 10 data values. So we call it Q1, the first quartile. The second quartile happens at the median. So we call it Q2. That's the same as the median. The third quartile happens here. And so it's like half of the second half. So that's called the third quartile. So we've now divided the data into quartiles. All right, at the beginning of all of this data, you have your minimum value. And at the ending of all this data, you have your maximum value. So there's 5 important numbers, okay, and they're listed over here. So these are the things you need to know. All right, so then there's a couple of other things, some other new words. The word range is how spread the data is. So the range of the entire data set is going to be, well, we know the numbers go from 59 to 77, so the range is 18. It's the difference between 59 and 77. So maximum value minus the minimum value gives us this range. But you can also find a range for a quartile. In particular, there's this interquartile range, which is the range within Q1 to Q3. So Q1, let's calculate Q1 over here actually. Q1 is the average of 64 and 65, because Q1 is not like an actual number, it's between two numbers. So that's why the average is 64.5. It actually tells you over here. Q1 is 64.5. And for Q3, it's between 70 and 70. So the average of 70 and 70 is 70. So we have all our numbers there. And so the interquartile range is going to be how far apart are from the first quartile to the third quartile. So that would be 70 minus 64.5, which is 5.5. I'm going to show you why the interquartile range, why it's even used. This is an example of a box plot. It's also called a box and whisker plot. Okay, I'm going to show you why. The numbers that they gave us on the previous page, okay, remember 66 was the median, so I'm going to put here the median. And it's also, remember, median is also called Q2. The Q1, which is the middle of the first half, almost like think of it as the median of the first half, is over here, Q1, that was 64.5. And the Q3 is the 70, right? Those are the numbers we calculated up here. So a box plot has a box that's drawn from Q1 to Q3. This is just called a box. And then around the box, we mark the minimum over here and the maximum over here, right? And between the box and the minimum, this is called a whisker. And from the box to the maximum is also called a whisker. So this is called a box and whisker plot. Okay, and thing to note here is that the 5 important numbers are there, right? Minimum, Q1, Q2, Q3, and max. The 5 important numbers are there, but also this graph is to scale. Like if I was to put in the little tick marks here, that would be to scale from 59 to 77. And notice what it's showing us. It's showing us that in the first 10, so this is the first 10 pieces of data, the numbers are pretty spread apart. But in the next 10, the numbers are between 64.5 and 66. So the numbers are very, very close together. And if I look back at my data, I can see that for that second quartile, like over here from Q1 to Q2, look at the numbers, 65, 65, 65, 65, and there's 166. So there's not much spread between the numbers there. There's a bit more spread in the next 10 and a lot of spread in the last 10. Okay, and so just remember that these numbers are to scale. So we're going to do our box plots on graph paper so that we have a proper scale. Okay, and then in the booklet we have some box plot puzzles. Okay, so for how to read this thing. So we're going to do that, and then also this one is a little bit more difficult. This is given the box plot to go backwards and see if we can figure out what the numbers might have been. So this one's a little bit harder. Okay, so please try and practice. Take a list of numbers. I can provide them for you if you want, list of numbers, and see if you can organize them. The idea is you take your list, you put them in order. Okay, you figure out your minimum, should be easy, it's the first one. Figure out your maximum, should be easy, it's the last one. It's the last one in the list. Okay, figure out your median, which is the middle number of the whole list. If your list has an odd number of data values, the middle number will be a number that you can read from the list. If it has an even number of values, then the median is going to sit between two numbers, so you'll take the average. Once you found the median, that's Q2, then you go back to Q1, which is going to be the middle of that first half, and Q3 would be the middle of the second half. You get all 5 numbers, and then you're ready to plot them. Okay, we make a scale. We decide we want to go from 59 to 77, so we decide on a scale. Mark your Q1, mark your Q3, draw a box from Q1 to Q3. Inside the box, make another vertical line to show where Q2 is, where the median is. Then you draw the whiskers to the two ends. Okay, just to show you a range. So the range of the whole data set for this is from the minimum to the maximum. So that range is 77 minus 59, okay, which is 18. The interquartile range is from Q3 to Q1. So it's from here to here, interquartile range. So that's sort of like, think of it as the width of the box. So that's 70 minus 64.5, which is 5.5. Okay, and then that would be your whole box plot. All right, please practice. Thank you for watching.